I remember the morning I got the news. I was having a meeting with somebody that I knew from LinkedIn. We were on a Zoom, and an appointment appeared on my calendar for about 30 minutes from now. It was with our VP, and I knew something was up. I was like, oh shit, here we go. But I have to ask you, what was it like when you got the news? Maybe were you on a Zoom call with somebody, or maybe your boss wouldn't look you in the eyes that day, or maybe you saw it coming for months, or maybe it just completely blindsided you. But here's the thing. If you're 55 or older, you've given decades to your career, and now you're sitting there wondering, what the hell do I do now? Here's what I want you to know right up front. The decisions that you make in the next 30 to 60 days will either set you up for the next chapter of your life, or they could lock you into something you might end up regretting. I'm not here to sugarcoat this, but I am here to help you navigate this with your eyes wide open because I've been through it too. Hi, I'm Scott, and I've spent 4 decades in corporate America before everything changed. I know what it's like to have your professional identity, hard for me to say, to have your professional identity shaken to its core. And I've learned something crucial, and that is the worst thing you can do after a layoff, in this stage of your life, is to panic into your next move. Look, this isn't like getting laid off back when we were in our 30s. We don't have 30 years of runway ahead of us to try to fix this. But you also have something that your younger self really didn't have, and that's perspective, resources, and hopefully a little bit of a financial cushion. Now, the problem is none of this matters if you make emotional decisions disguised as logical ones. Today, I want to share 5 things I've learned that you need to do before you make any big decisions. Not after you've already accepted the job that you're not excited about. Had a buddy did that. He's no longer there. Not after you've drained your 401k retirement accounts. Not after you've convinced yourself you need to start that franchise business that everybody's been telling you to start. Before all of that, right now, here are 5 things you need to consider. All right. Number one, you need to impose like a 30-day decision freeze on major financial moves. I know what you're thinking. I can hear you now. You're saying, Scott, I can't afford to wait 30 days from now. I need to do something now. Here's the thing. When you're still kind of in shock, you're not thinking clearly. And corporate America knows this, right? That's why they offer you that generous severance package that expires in 72 hours. Either sign this and get your money, or don't sign it and you may not get anything. It's also why you're being contacted by financial advisors all of a sudden now with franchise opportunities and business opportunities. Here's the thing. For the next 30 days, don't take early Social Security unless you're literally about to lose your house. Don't cash out your 401ks or take any major distributions. Don't accept that first job offer that comes your way. And don't start that expensive business venture. And finally, don't make any major purchases or sell any assets in a panic. What you need to do is to give yourself some space to think about what's going on without all of the adrenaline that's calling the shots. I mean, I get it. You feel pressure. Your spouse is nervous, right? Your friends are asking, so Scott, what's next? But 20 years from now, nobody's going to care that you took a month or two to catch your breath. They will remember if you made rash decisions that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars because you were in panic mode. Do me a favor, set a calendar reminder for 30 days from now. Label it decision day. Until then, you're in observation mode, not action mode. All right. Point number 2, get your emotions out of your body before they start making your decisions for you. Now, this is the part that nobody talks about because we've all been trained to be professional about everything, right? You might feel angry or scared. You definitely feel betrayed, right? You might even feel relieved, which makes you feel maybe a little guilty. I don't know. These feelings are all valid, but if you don't process them, they're going to hijack every decision that you make. Here's what I want you to do in the next um, week. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write it out. Get one of these, a pen. Get a notebook, not your phone, but an actual notebook and a pen, and write down everything that you're feeling. The the rage, the anger, the fear, the how dare they thoughts, all of it. No filter. Don't worry. You're not going to show this to anybody. But talk to somebody who gets it, not somebody who's going to tell you what to do, not someone who's going to minimize what you're going through and what you're feeling. Somebody who will just listen and say, man, that sucks. Talk to people like that. Write down your feelings. Talk to other people that you trust about it. You need to move your body. You need to go out for walks, hit a punching bag, go play some pickleball. Do whatever gets the stress chemicals out of your system. Your brain can't think clearly when your body is flooded with the fight or flight hormones, right? Here's why this matters. Because if you skip this step, you'll make decisions to avoid the feelings instead of decisions that actually serve you. You'll take a job that you hate just to stop from feeling afraid. You're You'll burn through savings just to feel like you're in control. You'll push away the people who care about you because you're angry or ashamed. Feel the feelings, work them out, then make the decisions. All right. Number 3, get brutally honest about your financial reality. And what I mean by this, notice I didn't say panic about your finances. I said get honest. You need to know 3 numbers. All right. First, you need to know how long can you actually survive? Not comfortably, not maintaining your current lifestyle. I mean, just survive. Roof over your head, food on the table, health insurance. Don't forget about that. If you cut everything that's non-essential, how many months do you really have? And I would venture to say that this number is usually bigger than you think it is when fear is running the show. But you need to know the facts. Okay, number 2. What what's your real retirement picture? Not what you hoped it would be. Okay, we've been through that. But what is it actually right now? Add up your 401k, your IRAs, pensions, definitely take a look at your Social Security projections. Look at what you have if you retired today versus, 62, 65, 67, 70. The thing is, you want to get real numbers, not guesses. The third thing is, what income do you actually need? And I think this is where it gets interesting because most of us have spent decades in a salaries arm race. Scott, speak. We didn't even know we were in this arms race, did we? We got raises, we got promotions, we inflated our lifestyle. But you need to get to the point to understand what you actually need right now, today. Is it 60% of what you were making? Maybe it's 40%. Maybe you discover you don't need nearly as much as you thought you once did once you remove the costs of trying to keep up with everyone else. Now, I'm not giving financial advice. That's not what I do. But run the numbers with a fee-only financial advisor if you can. Not somebody who makes commissions on products that they're trying to sell you, but somebody who charges you a flat fee just to help you see clearly. Because here's what happens when you know your numbers. When you know your numbers, you have options. You're not desperate. You can negotiate from a position of knowledge instead of one of fear. All right. Point number 4. Resist the urge to immediately replace your identity. Now, this is a big one, and I think this is where a lot of people might stumble. You see, because for decades, when somebody asked, "What do you do?" you had an answer, didn't you? You were a project manager, a training manager, a director or VP, whatever your title was. That title, though, was how we introduced ourselves at parties. It's how you thought about yourself. And now it's gone. Your brain is screaming at you to replace it as fast as possible, to get another title, to find another role, to prove that you still matter. But here's what I learned the hard way. We're not our job titles. You're the person who loves your kids, who knows how to fix things, who makes people laugh, who's been showing up for decades, even when it was hard. You're the person who has skills and experience and wisdom that exist, whether or not they're attached to a corporate email address and a paycheck every other Friday. Before you rush to replace your professional identity, take some time to remember who you really are. Ask yourself, if money were no object, if it wasn't a factor, what would you want to do with your time? Not what would I want my job to be? What do you want to do? Now, maybe you'll discover you want to consult part-time and spend the rest of the time with grandkids. Maybe you want to learn something completely new. Maybe you want to work with your hands after decades of being behind a desk like this. The point is this: you have a chance right now to design something instead of just accepting whatever comes next. Don't waste it by rushing into and just recreating something that you just lost. All right. Point number 5, build a bridge, not a boat. You know, when we get to this point, what this is about is this is where we need to get really practical about moving forward. We don't need to reinvent our entire life in the next 30 to 60 days. Okay. This isn't about reinventing ourselves in a month, but you do need to build a bridge from where you are to where you want to be. Now, this bridge decision, it's something that generates some income without locking us into another 30-year commitment, right? It's not locking us into another career. It needs to use the skills we already have while we figure out what's next. It needs to keep us engaged without consuming our entire identity. And it needs to give us flexibility instead of trapping us. Now, maybe for you, it's consulting in your old industry. Maybe it's contract work. Maybe it's part-time role that pays the bills while you explore what to do next. Maybe it's helping a small business with specific problems that you solved in your corporate days. The key word is bridge. You're not trying to build your forever solution right now. You're just trying to create a little stability while you figure out what forever actually looks like. Start having conversations, not I need a job conversations, not hitting LinkedIn saying, oh, I need to find a job. You need to have conversations that you're saying, okay, what comes next? Tell people what you're good at and what you're curious about, and just see what emerges, not necessarily a job. The best opportunities I've seen come from people who said, hey, I'm in transition and I'm open to interesting projects, instead of, I'm desperate, I need money, and I need a job right away. Here's the thing, we've got skills, we've got experience, we've got a network. We need to use the next 30, 60, 90 days to explore how those things serve us in new ways. All right. In conclusion, look, getting laid off after 55 is brutal. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But it's also kind of a forced reset that might be exactly what you needed, even if you wouldn't have chosen it. The 5 things I covered, the 30-day freeze, processing emotions, financial clarity, protecting our identity, and building that bridge. These aren't just about surviving this moment. They're about setting ourselves up to actually thrive in whatever comes next. You've spent decades building a career. Now you get to spend some time building the rest of your life. If this resonated with you, hey, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I make videos every week for people navigating this exact transition, the same transition I'm going through. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear the journey you're on. And I have to tell you, you've got this. Not because everything's going to be easy, but because you've already survived decades of hard things. This is just the next chapter. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.